Welcome to our daily Zohar. I would like to remind you that if you have any questions, requests, you can reach us at rabbigaon@gmail.com. You can look at us on Facebook at Yeshiva Etzion. That's Yeshiva without an H, Etzion, Etzion. And if you would like to sponsor a shiur, you can do so. You can go to our website, yeshivaetzion.com, or just contact us at our email, and we'll be glad to accommodate you. We are continuing today with a topic in which the Zohar is talking about, and which we started yesterday. We're going to continue with it today. The Zohar says, "Rugza de Rabbanan b'mili deoraita, Kaas Chachamim," the anger of Rabbanan. When Chachamim are angry, when Rabbi or Chachamim are angry, what are they angry about? They're angry about Divrei Torah. B'mili deoraita. Kaas Chachamim, when Chachamim are angry at someone or whatever it is, why are they angry? Latet kavod la Torah, so the Torah would not be disgraced. We said before that a person should not get angry. But sometimes you see the Chachamim do get angry. It's not about them. It's kavod la Torah. Because if a person insulted let's say a rabbi or a Talmid Chacham, I don't know, called them ugly, fat, whatever it is, he could be mochel him. Says, why? As a person to a person, you could be mochel. That's not a problem. You know, you have you were given the authority to mochel your kas, your kavod. Yeah, it's my respect. It's fine. I don't really care. But if a person insults you because what you represent the Torah, insults anything that you come from or about, that you're not allowed to be mochel. Why? Because it's not your kavod. It's kavod Torah. And as a rabbi, as a chacham, you are expected to stand guard for the kavod Torah. For example, if a person hears another person insulting the other, you should tell him, why are you doing so and so on and so forth. Well, what's the extent? But if a person is married to a woman, and now somebody is insulting the woman, he is obligated in her kavod more than he is obligated than his kavod. Why? Because as a husband, you are obligated and expected to take care and to respect your wife more than you respect yourself. Care about your wife more than you care about yourself. And even more important, you have to love your wife more than you love yourself. So is the Talmid Chacham. He is expected and he is obligated lichvod Torah. So when something or someone does something that is potential or actual, harmful or disrespectful to the Torah, therefore the Chacham is obligated to be ko'es, is to be angry. And that they say that any place shenatnu Chachamim et einam, right? They say the Talmid Chacham should be like a scorpion. V'noter karachash, you have to be like a snake. Why? Not for yourself. Not because you are a rabbi, now you're going to be out of control. Because only in matters of kavod HaTorah. Otherwise, you should show an example to be. But when it's kavod HaTorah, that's not up to you already. Now you're obligated. You represent something. So, and why? Ve'akol le'avodat Hashem hu. And everything is a matter of avodat Hashem. The kaas of Chachamim is also avodat Hashem. Like kach ne'emar, therefore it says, Ki Hashem Elokecha, Hashem your God, Esh Ochelahu, is a consuming fire. Who El Kana, is a jealous guy. What do you mean jealous? Not jealous of I'm jealous why you have this one. I'm zealous at that. What do you mean you're doing this? Mishum kanai, I'm zealous. Not kanai of jealous. Jealous, zealous, the same thing. But if the kas iu bedvarim acherim, on other matters, velo b'divrei Torah, ein zo avodat HaKodesh Baruch Hu. That's not a part of avodat Hashem. Let's say a guy, I don't know, accidentally scratched your car. You didn't mean that. Or, you were drinking tea, accidentally banged into you, spilled the tea. No, it's not spilled tea. But when he took the tea and spilled it all you, because what you represent, that's avodat Hashem, and you're angry. It's like would you get angry if somebody would take a cup of tea and chas v'shalom, toss it on a Sefer Torah? You get angry. Would you get angry if somebody would take a cup of tea and toss it on the Rabbi? Cold tea, of course, cold tea. Would you end it the same? Well, some people say, you know what, man, I hear this guy's point, the Rabbi really, and he shouldn't be angry like that. And that's what the Zohar says. No, his anger, when it's lichvod Torah, is begeder avodat Hashem. When it's lichvod atzmo, it's not begeder avodat Hashem. Why? Mishum shebekol hachata'im she'adam oseh, and all the sins that a person commits, einam avodah zama mamash kamou, ve'asur likrov zeh el zeh. All the averot that a person does are not as severe, they're not called avodah zarah as much as anger. Ve'im tomar, if you says arei l'sha'a hu avar v'achar kach chazar b'tshuva, he did an avera and then he did tshuva, it became tshuva, eino ken. He got angry, he yelled at you, why did you spill the tea on me? Then he says, listen, I'm sorry, please forgive me. So you said, well, you did tshuva, it's okay. The Zohar says, no, it's not okay. Why? Because that comes what we start deal with yesterday. When you are angry, you outrooting your neshama, your holy neshama, and kedushat nafsho, the holiness of your soul, from its place and from yourself, v'oto elzar, and then that foreign god penetrated into you and oppressed you and took over your soul, that place in you that's called what your neshama is. Once it's in you, umitchazek bo ve'eino ozev oto, and would not leave you. And it's very difficult. Let's say, for example, it sounds almost like a science fiction movie, you don't, that alien cannot get into you. You give him an opening, shoo, goes inside of you. That's it, shalom. Almost like a, I don't know, like an infectious disease or some kind of virus. The virus is there. If you have your immune system, okay, you're wearing your gear, the CDC kind of a thing, hazmat, whatever you're putting on you, you can enter that. But if you're in that place and all of a sudden you took your thing, you're going to expose yourself. Once you expose yourself, it's inside. That's a totally different game. As long as it's not in your body, it could be treated. Once it's inside of you, that's a totally different story. Then it's going to nourish on you. It's going to leach to every Yetzer hara, by the way. Yetzer hara is a parasite. Averot. And the most of all is vainness, to be arrogant. Arrogance is the biggest parasites of the Yetzer. And the categories of Yetzer hara, being arrogant, is maybe the biggest parasite. Selfishness, arrogance, this all the same mishpacha. God's a wonderful family of parasites. That's the biggest one. Because it makes you feel good, but you don't know that while he's doing that, he's taking everything. It's like when you give somebody a drug at the beginning, he feels that's great. But then what happens, you basically make him into a junkie. That's exactly what it is. And these are you call them, you might call it a disorder, you call them whatever you want, but it's an addiction. It's a spiritual addiction. If there is a physical addiction, there's a spiritual addiction. You're addicted to that rush that it gives you, feeling I'm the best. Or trying to say, oh, I got him. I got him. It's an addiction. And you'll see that the person, people like that will go to him, will go to you, will go to one after the other. And it's never going to be just one case or deal. It's going to be, that's why certain things you should not allow into your existence. Another thing is hatred. Hatred is also something that is very rooted, very deep inside of you. And once it gets hold of you, you won't be able to get it out. That's why I said to you many times, there is no commandment in the Torah to hate anyone or anything. God can hate. You can't. Because today you hate your enemies. Tomorrow you hate your brother. Don't hate. I'm not saying sit there, face up and let everything crawl. No, this is something else. You have to address things, you have to tell things, but do not hate. Hatred is something that should not have a grab on you. Selfishness is the same thing. It's all, somewhere along the line, they all root out to the same thing. And it says, and it therefore gets stronger and stronger and will never leave you. Chutz mishenithar adam michol makom ve'akar oto mitocho le'olam. In order to do so, what you need to do is what? You need to completely uproot it out of you. If, God forbid, let's say a person has a gangrene in his toe, at a certain point, you need to cut up the whole thing, the whole leg, to amputate the leg in order to save the rest of the body. So is Yetzer Hara. Once you let it in, the only way is to work very hard and to pull it out. La'akor is to uproot. And it's very hard. If you ever worked in the garden and tried to put some crabgrass or some weeds out, or tried to put any kind of, even weeds are hard to pull. Maybe that's why they smoke it. No. But even weeds, you are a strong man. You're big. You weigh whatever you weigh. You have strong arms. You can bench press 200 pounds. There's a little weed. You can yank it out of the ground. And it takes a lot of pain. Imagine a little sapling, a seedling of a maple or an oak that goes into the ground. It's hard to pull it out. Yetzer Hara is the same thing. La'akor means it is going to be painful. So how are you going to do it? Guess what? Take care of it. You have an infected tooth. You had a choice. Take care of it immediately. Don't allow any kind of whatever into your mouth. If not, we'll have to either drill it, and if it's not working, we're gonna pull your tooth out, and that's painful. That's blood. That's pain. That's a mini trauma. I'll tell you something about pulling teeth. My friend in the Air Force had a tooth pulled. His root was so big that together with his tooth came a piece of a bone. They couldn't fly him because of the pressure. And it was a major thing. Operations, a piece of bone. Pulling a Yetzer Hara, pulling a Midah, could be worse and more difficult and painful than that. So don't let it in. Don't let it in. Take the 50-year test. You feel the waves of anger coming, you feel the blood, you feel the rush, you feel that sweat, you feel that coming. Hold on 1 second. Let's do the litmus test of the 50 years. Do the litmus test of the 10 years. In 10 years, would that make a difference to you if you got angry or didn't get angry? That incident that happened right now, I don't know, somebody broke your computer. So computer is it's an important thing, right? Is that going to make a difference to you? Is this going to be still important to you in 10 years? 50 years? In 10 years? Nah. So forget it. Forget it. Say, look at this. The Shama went out of it. Yalla. Time to get another one. Maybe you go to the Apple store, you meet your Bashert there, Or who knows? Mio there, right? And they say, oh, can you break another computer? Yeah. So we need to do that. Don't allow this in you. Chacham is allowed, the rabbi is allowed to do so, since he learned as much And the only way he's allowed to do so is for that. The Ari says that if a person would look at the mirror when he's angry, he's going to get scared. Your own self, when you get angry, you see an animal. Mamash niya, it becomes another being. So according to the Kabbalah, even not according to Halacha, according to Kabbalah, it is horrendous. You become you become an animal. And when you become an animal, you become tameh. And after you are rooted from you, you have to make a very big effort to sanctify yourself and to continue the Kedusha on you, because the Kedusha went away from you. Now you are tameh. And then he says, then halevai sheyitkadesh. I hope he'll get sanctified, because it's not for sure. It went out. You have to bring it in. Amar lo Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says, no. Mitkadesh mamash. No, he'll become sanctified. Why? Habali ta'er mesayim biyado. You want to purify yourself, you got to do it, right? Amar lo, then he says, come and see. B'sha'ah shehu oker kedushat nafsho, when you are rooting the holiness of your soul, or your holy soul out of you, v'shoreh b'mkoma el zar, and a foreign god, that is the tum'ah, comes into the place, into you. Hu nikra tameh. At that moment, you are called tameh. You are impure. Nitzma adam, he becomes impure. Umetameh, and makes everything else that comes close to him tameh. Because tumah passes on. It's like a conductor, right? So now, let's say for example, the person is tameh, came next to you, you are his body. You'll become tameh too. You get immersed in that. It's contagious. V'akdusha ahu nekra mimeno. So therefore, as much as the kedusha was uprooted from this guy, now that this guy becomes tameh, his kedusha goes away also. B'kevan shenekra mimeno pa'am achat. Now that it was uprooted from him one time, kama sheyaseh adam lo tashuvot lemkoma. It will be near impossible for the kedusha to come back to its place. You are uprooted. It's very difficult. Amar lo, if so, how is it that impure people become pure? Amar lo, mishunahu tumah acheret, sheno yachol la'asot yoter. There are certain tumot you cannot help. There are some people, but there are certain things that you cannot fix. Aval zeh mishuna mikol. The tumah that comes because of anger, the tumah that comes at all, and by the way, anger is also a form of selfishness when it's not l'shem Torah. Why? You allow yourself for yourself. You're very selfish. You're somewhat narcissist. Why? Because your whole body becomes tameh. Mi bifnim u b'chutz. Your body becomes tameh inside and out. Ve'anefesh ve'akol metameh. And then the soul and everything that comes along with you becomes tameh. And the rest of the tumot eno metameh laguf b'chutz. If a person touches something that is impure, that's halachot tumah. If a person touches something that is impure, only externally becomes, internally is a tahor. Just that, he had a condition right now, he is tameh, he is impure, he goes and purifies, and his soul is still pure. His body is impure. Right? But when you get angry, both your soul and your body become impure. And that's the chidush here. Umishum zen, because of that, katuv, chidlu min ha'adam asher neshama be'aro. Have nothing to do from a person who is angry. Sheichlif kedushat ribono, that substituted the holiness of his master, there is God, in exchange for his anger. Shezoi tum'ah shemetamet hakol. The angry young man. You tell him something, so listen, what'd you do that for? What you did is wrong. Yeah? Guess what? I'm not talking to you anymore. It's the same thing. That's the same thing. It says, you substituted his kedusha for your anger, and your anger make you tameh. V'zeh metameh hakol, and that makes everything tameh. That's why many people refuse to receive tochecha, to be rebuked by the rabbis. They don't want to hear anything from the rabbi. But he's telling you because that's his job. He's your teacher. He's your mentor. Listen, כי במה הוא נחשב, because why is that? כי במה הוא נחשב במה של עבודה זרה. He is considered now a altar for idol sacrifice. The avodah zara of the tum'ah penetrates into him, and he becomes the altar for that. And therefore that is even bama, anything like this, is more severe than avodah zara. In terms of the tum'ah, it becomes more severe. Something that I bring is a sacrifice, or meshamshev, is more severe than that. Now is, because why? Because the avodah zara is done with it. If this was not, that was not. The avodah zara would not be able to do it. It becomes more tameh. So now he's bama la avodah zara. Come and see. Hakas, that there is avodah zara, sitra achara, as we said, the evil side. Tzarich ha'adam li'ishamer, a person needs to watch out, ve'lehipared, and to separate from it completely. Ve'al ken katuv elokei masecha, gods of a mask. Lo ta'asu lecha. You put a mask on yourself. That's not you anymore. That's not your face. You put a mask on your face. And who are you worshipping in your anger? Yourself. You become the avodah zara. You become the altar for avodah zara. Why? Don't do that. Why? Kedei lo lehara le'atzmecha. Don't do it, so don't cause harm for yourself. V'katuv acharav, and it says, Et chag hamatzot tishmor. You should keep chag hamatzot. Elokei masecha chag hamatzot. The Zohar says, tishmor, to keep, hainu tzad hagdusha, the side of holiness, she'adam tzarich leshomra. Right now, you are learning, for example, in yeshiva. You think you made it. It's okay. Listen, I came from the street, I came to yeshiva. I'm okay, I'm immune. You're wrong. There's still, you clean yourself. You are now learning and observing, you're getting internal cleaning from the Torah. But you need to guard it. And you need to respect yourself and respect others. Why respect others? Because when you metameh yourself, your friends come to yeshiva, you make them tameh. That's not right. They are your friends. So now you got angry, and then you're going to speak to your friend out of your anger. You don't know what kind of seed you planted in his head. That's not right. You make him tameh too. So therefore, chidlu. And it says, Akdusha, therefore holiness, Adam tzarich leshomra, velo yachlif ota besitra achara. Make sure that you guard, do not substitute holiness for impurity. I hope that we'll be able to stay holy, and we should stay on guard, and we should watch, and we should never get angry, and we should never have a reason to get angry, even if it's lechvod Torah. There should not be any excuse to get angry. And Be'ezrat Hashem, everybody, Kol Am Yisrael yachzeru b'teshuva shlema, and the Kedusha of Am Yisrael would remain and sustain, and Kedushat Eretz Yisrael as well. Why? Ki Hashem hu kadosh, 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 Hashem tzevakot.
Amen.